How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Lead Therapy, and thank you so very much for taking time for tuning into my video. Most of you know that there's only 2 companies that produce primers in the United States, and we'll talk about them further on in the video. But there's some good news. A 3rd player is set to enter the American primer market, and the name of that company is Expansion Industries. Before I go on further in the video, if you enjoy videos like this, or if I give you some information you didn't know, please take time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. It helps the channel out and it's greatly appreciated. Even as supplies of ammunition have returned to store shelves, shooters are facing prices far higher than pre-pandemic levels. One challenge has been the ongoing global supply chain bottlenecks, which have made it difficult for ammunition manufacturers to run production at full capacity. Between a shortage of truck drivers, backlogs at our nation ports, and increased demand for raw materials, notably copper, ammunition makers continue to be pressed by supply chain woes. The increase in the number of new gun owners has further exacerbated the problem. More shooters resulted in greater demand for ammunition, and 2020-2021 vastly outpaced the previous year's sales. Yet there is another factor to consider. Only 2 companies produce primers, a key component to modern ammunition. Winchester, which is owned by the Olin Corporation, and Vista Outdoors, which is the owner of Federal, Remington Ammunition, and CCI, each has done in its respective power to keep the production flowing. But it is easy to see how having just 2 players in a volatile market was really a recipe for disaster. Brass can be reused, and powder has remained reasonably plentiful. Yet primers have been the weak line in the supply chain, creating a serious bottleneck for the industry, which in turn has been impacted further by the larger supply chain bottlenecks. Millions upon millions are produced, but all by those 4 entities owned by 2 corporate giants in the United States. Internationally, primers are manufactured by several firms in different parts of the world, including Armscor in the Philippines, Fiocchi in Italy, and Cellular and Belay in the Czech Republic. In normal times, those international primers could be used to help meet the demand in the US. Of course, we're not living in normal times, and the pandemic slowed how goods moved around the world in 2020. While supply bottlenecks ground supply chains to a halt in 2021. There's that old saying, 3 is a crowd, but in this case, it definitely is not. And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, fortunately, a 3rd player is set to enter the American primer market, and their name is Expansion Industries, the parent company of Expansion Ammunition. And they announced that they will be opening a new facility outside Texarkana, Texas. If the name doesn't ring a bell, don't feel bad. The company, which is headquartered in Carrollton, Texas, which is just outside Dallas-Fort Worth, was only launched during the last great ammunition shortage in the mid-2010s as an effort to ensure every American could maintain the right to keep and bear arms. Now, as this country continues to experience the worst supply chain bottleneck in decades, which has impacted the availability of firearms ammunition, the Texas-based firm is living up to its name as it begins a major expansion. Expansion Industries, listen to this number, people, $100 million, and recently has begun preparation work on the East Campus of TexAmericas Center, which included the purchase of the main G line of the former Lone Star Army ammunition plant. That facility, which once produced ordnance for the U.S. military, is being prepared to resume operations later this year. The new site will specialize in the production of primers. We have invested $100 million in the site so far. Richard A. Smithson, owner of Expansion Industries, told the Texarkana Gazette newspaper, "This is all about supply and demand. There is serious demand in the industry for this product, and right now, for various reasons, the supply chain is falling woefully short. So we are getting ready to do our part to help out with that issue." Despite being a smaller player in the industry, Smithson has said that the new facility will be state-of-the-art, featuring a high level of automation. The former Lone Star Army ammunition plant was reported to be uniquely situated for Expansion Ammunition's future endeavors. The manufacturing facilities at Lone Star were set up for ammunition manufacturing added Smithson. Not only the way the facilities are laid out on the former base, but the facilities themselves are hardened to protect against possible accidents. Working with this material, what is here was ready for someone like us to come and set up shop. So we've had our people in there getting it ready for a modern manufacturing facility. We aim to be up and running in the first few months of this year. Expansion Industries has also begun a recruiting drive, which will include an on-site job fair, and it has set a goal to have more than 400 workers employed at the plant by 2023. Every box of ammunition, we make it clear it is about freedom, Smithson said. The first 10 amendments of our Constitution lay it all out. Our liberties and our Second Amendment is about freedom of an American to be armed, to defend against anyone who would seek to take away that freedom. And should our Second Amendment fall, there is nothing to prevent the rest of it from being taken. We are a faith-based company, and we make that clear. We are doing what we can to take a stand for Americans' freedoms, support shooting sports, and with this facility, we will be taking it all to the next level. As always, let me know your thoughts about the story in the comment section down below. And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, if you enjoyed this video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, please take time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. And I will see you guys in the next video.